You're listening to Beauty, Strength, and Dominance, the official podcast of Lingerie Fighting Championships. And now, here's your host, Michael Larkin.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another edition of Beauty, Strength, and Dominance, the official LFC Lingerie Fighting Championships podcast. And joining me tonight, Friday, May 30th, 6 p.m. to 11 p.m. NYC, Surrender Wrestling and Assphyziation. The one, the only, the host of this fine event, sessions wrestler and a hell of a content creator in her own right, the one, the only Domcat, Domina Katarina. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
First and foremost, it's always a pleasure to have you on the show. You always do great work with these events. There's always a fun time within these parties. How excited are you with a hell of a name like Surrender Wrestling and Assphyziation?
I am always so excited for these parties. It's not just, an opportunity to have everybody get together, but so many of the same people come back for every party. And I love seeing them every time because, everybody's busy, everybody's working, everybody has their own life. So this is like the perfect opportunity for everyone to just take a pause, take a little vacation from the world we're living in right now, and just, be in community and hang out together. So I'm very excited. Plus, asphyxiation is kind of a theme very close to my heart and my ass. So I love this theme. I love this one.
So you certainly showcase the voluptuosity with your assets, pun intended, because you do definitely do a lot of great work on that side of things, and I hold you with much love and respect on that front. So let's put into the forefront here, man, as far as wrestling and asphyxiation. How crazy is it? Because we always talk about fetishes and preferences that make everybody so unique, that gravitate toward your content and so many great content out there. How awesome is it to see just how big of a category and just how big of a preference, dare I say even a kink, that ass smothering is, and just anything that has to do with the proverbial gluteus maximus, if you will.
It is so, I know feet is the most common fetish kind of thing, but ass has to be right up there. It has to be right up there because, and maybe it's just the world I operate in with this big Tonka truck dumpster ass, but people love ass. They love ass and breath play. It's so, it has that element of danger, that little bit of fear play, that euphoria, that control, that power dynamic. It's so powerful to control someone's breath. And then to do that with something that, with your ass. Let's be real. It's kind of like something almost, when you're a kid, cartoonish, or you watch a cat, sit down on a dog when they're fighting, that kind of thing. Using your ass is so amazing. So, it's like this, it's not a hand, it's not a foot, but it's definitely a useful appendage.
Absolutely. It kind of reminds me of Billy Madison in that scene. It was just a stunt. He was supposed to pinch my leg. That, think of the revolting blob, but just more into the sensual side of things.
More sensual. Hey, what perfect curves and fullness, and what a part of the body that not only combines, muscle and strength, but also the softness, the fleshiness, right? How yummy is that? Plus then too, having someone sit down on you with their full weight, that is the ultimate surrender, that is just controlling that person with the simple act of sitting down with your body. Mwah, love that.
I'm right there with you. And if you really put everything into perspective, and we always talk about our surroundings and how we really get influenced by them. If you really look at the badonkadonk or the dump truck, as you mentioned, you got dumps like a truck, let me see that thong, to quote the great Cisco. I look at it from a stance like this. The booty has become so synonymous with some of our favorite songs like Baby Got Back by Sir Mix-a-Lot, Miss New Booty by Bubba Sparks and the Yin Yang Twins. The booty is showcased, Back That Thing Up by Juvenile. We have so many things, Shake Your Ass, Watch Yourself, Mystical. We have so many videos that have encompassed that, which we see beautiful women showcasing that within their performance, but also at the same time too, it's something that's popular culture that not only men and women like, but it's something that is synonymous with what we get to see in everything of our walks of life.
And it's funny because you might have to send me that list of songs because you mentioned a couple that weren't on the playlist yet, but it is definitely a bootylicious playlist. I'm always very proud of my playlists. But yeah, this one is definitely, Miss New Booty is on there for sure. But yeah, I need to add a couple more on there. I don't think I put Sir Mix-a-Lot on it.
Okay, so yeah, there's so many out there. And it's so funny too, because if you look at Sir Mix-a-Lot, he actually did a sequel to Baby Got Back. It was called Put 'Em on the Glass, and that was a song about the breasts, which is actually not bad. It's very one of his underrated ones. I definitely have to send you that if you've never heard of it.
Okay, yeah, I haven't heard that one. I mean, it's Put It on the Glass. Is that what
Put
it
it
is?
on the glass. It's like the breasts on the glass. Put it on the glass.
Yes. And actually the promotion, the main promotional picture is my ass, and it's ass on glass. My friend Riru took it. Kill Pussy and I were filming, and there was a glass shower door, and we were like, yes, ass on glass. So that is what that main image is definitely, listen, squishy, yummy body parts and glass, peanut butter and jelly, baby.
Can we give a shout out to Riru and Uptown Bunny and everything? I saw like that clip that you were posting and editing. That looks very sensual. Cannot wait to check it out. That has got to be an awesome collab there.
That was definitely fun, and I'm looking forward to filming with them again. The chemistry between the two of them, and just working. It was the first time I worked with Uptown Bunny, but I've worked with Riru. He's a friend of mine, and just being able to like have that filthy fun, but yet in a still like playful way. I mean, that's like the pinnacle of adult playtime.
Oh, absolutely. I think we always talk about evoking emotions and eliciting reaction in anything that we do. This is it right here. I mean, it brings eyes not only to your product, but just to people to really expand their horizons. And I mean, I look at it like this, man. You talk about the playlist. I mean, like I mentioned, Juvenile, Back That Thing Up, Mystical, Shake Your Ass. I got to say, if any other music songs I think of, I'll give you a playlist. But
please do.
I got your back. I got your back. But it's one of those things where everything really sticks out. Besides the booty, of course, but everything sticks out with everything that you provide. I've always been so impressed with what you provide from the safe and spectacular side of things, but you really know how to make a doggone event fun, Domina.
Thank you. And honestly, it really, and I know I've said this before, it's just, I threw the party that I would want to go to, and the people that I want to hang out with are the ones that come to it. But I am someone that, sometimes it takes me a little while to process things. So I want to make sure that like I give everybody the chance that I would want to be able to opt in or out to something, right? It's that risk-aware consensual kink. It's that informed consent. For me, the way I approach BDSM is, we take our talk of limits and boundaries. And I know sometimes people are like, oh, I don't want to talk about this stuff, but trust me, it makes playtime so much better. You talk about your limits and boundaries, what you don't like, what you don't want. We find out what you like. We pad the walls, right? We share our mutual desires. And then inside that box, we get to go nuts, right? Like it feels like no rules because we know where the walls are and we know where the padding is. So that's just the kind of experience I want for people, which is why I love when people come to the workshop. You get a little taste of, what the theme is about. Try and see some ways that you can mix it in with your wrestling during the rest of the party if you so choose. And then we do introductions, the featured providers that are there. I introduce them, kind of give you the lay of the land. And then we do a quick consent review. And at this point, I don't even have to say anything. I just say to somebody like, what is consent to you? Okay, something else. And the people there already, like they know it. But it's really nice to just review it and set that intention, right? It's kind of like wearing a uniform, right? I mean, it's boring, whatever. But when you put on your school uniform, you're going to school, right? So like when you have that consent talk, you're building this container. And even though, my uniform is a thong bikini, it's still that intention. It's still that intentionality that we set.
No, I'm right there with you. I like that analogy too, because it's like you go to school and a lot of the schools have uniforms and it's like, yeah, I don't want to wear this crap. But, when it's like 3:00, when I leave the school, I'm back into my normal clothing. So, I mean, I think you set great boundaries and consent on that form because that is so key in anything that we do in all facets of life. Then the professionalism and decorum, of course, but the workplace, it gets a feeling of what you're going to do, what you're about. Here's the ground rules. And I think that definitely needs to apply with everything because, again, it just showcases you for who you are and how you represent yourself and present yourself. I know I've mentioned this as well in our conversations, but representation of your presentation is so keen, Miss Domina.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And I love hearing when people say like surrender is a great first party to go to. And I think it is because we do, we start with the assumption that this is everyone's first time, right? Because there's nothing like going to a play party, it being your first time, not knowing what to expect, no one explaining anything. You're just kind of going in there blind. Like, it's really nice to have a little script setting. So yeah. And I mean, the people that come, like I said, they are the ones that make the party great. They are the ones that make the party great. And some of them, you should see their wrestling, dude. I'm telling you, like, there were people that came to like maybe the first or second surrender that were like, decent on the mats. They came to a couple of my workshops. They play around on the mats with their friends because I have like open mat time. I have jams, wrestling jams. And they come and they practice. And then when I see them at the parties, I'm like, holy shit, y'all are killers. Like, it's not just, I mean, yeah, there's fantasy wrestling, there's tickle wrestling, there's primal, there's sock wrestling, there's pro style, there's all kinds of things. But some of these people who haven't had like formal dojo training are doing competitive wrestling on the mat. It's pretty bonkers. I am just like, I'm in awe. I feel like a proud like mama bear when I see them. I'm like, you guys are
I like the air quotes behind the formal dojo.
Right? Like everything,
No, I hear you. I think the right practice and the amount of time that you spent, it could be a day or what have you. As long as you put the work in, that's the main thing. And like you mentioned, it has fantasy wrestling and different types of wrestling. I think we've even mentioned this before, and I'll say this to the folks. If you really kind of think about wrestling, and you've said it beautifully in the past, and we'll reincorporate it here now, wrestling in a way has its own sensual vibes to it. People just going one-on-one. There's the sense of sensuality. Yes, it's physical combat, but it does have that, dare I say, alluring feel to it, and that overall etiquette, elegant, but also sensual vibe to it that a lot of people can really resonate with. And even just by seeing a certain video or an image, it really does, dare I say, tintillate and tantalize the masses, so to speak.
Yes. And that's the thing that I love about wrestling. I mean, yes, there is logic to it. And there's, every move has an answer, right? It's like a question and answer. Constantly the opponents are speaking to each other in that physical language. But I remember when I first started wrestling, I was already, a classic Dom, doing Dom stuff. And I just remember like just not being used to that physical closeness, and knowing that you have to get that close to your opponent and you have to eliminate the space in order to effectively wrestle. And then realizing that it's my body, it's me, it's this, you know what I mean? Like, no one can ever tell me I'm not strong enough. Like, feel my scissor holds. Like, you'll never say that again. But like, it's this idea that like, just with this skin on skin physical contact, you can affect someone's psyche with your own body. It's an amazing, truly, I mean, everything, all of my favorite things that stem from wrestling, face sitting, scissor hold, smothering, choking, like all those things. My most favorite things, power dynamics, they all come from this act of physical domination, which is my favorite thing. And that's what surrender is about. It's about celebrating that physical domination and all the ways we can play with it, all the kinks and fetishes that meld so well with it.
Absolutely. I think with the overall presentation, it kind of reminds me of a very more sensual kind of vibe to what we saw in the early days with the gorgeous ladies of wrestling mixed with like women of wrestling, what we see now, like all female promotions. Like you have Shimmer based out of, the New England area, and you have so many different wrestling promotions out there. Just amplified that with more sensiness and Doms type of vibes. Then you have a surrender party. So what you're doing is you're taking women's promotions that are great and ran spectacularly, and you're amplifying it with your spectacular fashion, just upping the sensuality and upping the kinks, and that makes for a hell of a party, man.
Thank you. And I think too, part of it is like that intimate vibe of the party, because it really is like, it's been described as a house party with wrestling mats. Like that's what you come in, there's music playing, it's BYOB, people are kind of, no shoes, running around in their like kink gear or their bikinis. And, it's just a very like, hey, I brought something, I brought a bottle of wine here, whoever wants it, have some. Like, it's very house party vibes. There's the cuddle puddle, there are the vendors, there's the flash tattoo. Like, it really is just that intimate intimate vibe, which is why I think it's so great, like where we have it, because it really has become sort of a home base for Surrender. Not that Surrender won't go other places, won't travel to other cities, won't do other things, but it really is like this. It's its own thing right now. Like there is, I can, not to be like to my own horn, but like Surrender is its own party. Like, you know what I mean? It just has its own vibe.
When you think of New York City, I mean, you think of the underground that is the Surrender Wrestling. So you're kind of bringing people to it. And I mean, look at house music. When you look at house music and you think of like parties in the 90s, even in the early 2000s, and we'll make it retro for the youngins out there. You get the Thunderpuss remix going, that type of vibes into it, man. And it's a hell of a time with different variations going on. Hell, you could even have a slip and slide in the kitchen where the girls are just there's like, that's how old school parties were. And even you kind of implement it to what we have now. But that's the stuff that happens. Stuff like that, the most simplistic stuff, can be so fun. You have to be creative with it.
Yes, and trust, I have been thinking of ways to try and work some oil wrestling into one of these parties. There are so many topics and so many things we have not even dared touch yet. There's so much to, and like, you know, this one I brought back asphyxiation because it is a fan favorite and it's a personal favorite. But the next one is feminization in August. And the one after that in October is pet play. So those are themes that we've never done before. So that'll be fun too. But definitely next year, like it's percolating next year. It's percolating. I know people want more parties. So I'm trying to think of a way that I can do that without losing my hair, you know, because it's a lot of work doing these parties. But I do love them. And I do love hanging out with everyone so much. So, you know, more mat time. Why not? Just somewhere where we can have some open mats.
Oh, absolutely. And I mean, getting the creative juices flowing is so much the great passion that goes within planning these and really being involved in these events. And I mean, I'll mention two people who are part of these events because we're going to go down the list of the people that are on this because you have a plethora of amazing people that will be at this great event. Two, I got to mention veterans, man, people that we know, people that we love. I'm talking about Queen Gia Love and I'm talking about that girl, Feisty Feminista. Always some regulars at that party, two beautiful women who've done their thing in sessions and just absolutely generate and resonate with the beauty side of things as well as the badassery, and yes, I said assery type of vibe. Talk about Feisty Feminista and Gia Love coming on through.
Well, Feisty Feminista, we do have to check on her school schedule because she does have a school schedule and she does travel. She was at the last one at Wrestling and Beatdowns, and she gave a beatdown demo. And actually, one of the community members that comes to the parties was so cool. They've been doing like photography, and I was like, hey, if you want to expand your kink photography, I know you from different places, different organizations, different groups, different workshops that I've taught. Come through and take pictures. So they got to take pictures of the beatdown stuff. I even filmed the beatdown demo for Feisty. So Feisty will be releasing that at some point. But Gia Love, yes, Gia Love is back. Gia Love has been coming to a lot of Surrender parties. I think since the last year's asphyxiation, but she is teaching face sitting this time. She's having a face sitting workshop. Doors are at 6. The workshop starts at 6:30. And what a great beauty booty to do that workshop. I mean, obviously when I was like, oh, you know, sure, I could teach face sitting, whatever. And then I was like, who is going to be perfect for this? And immediately, Gia Love came to mind. I am so glad she's going to be here for this one. I was like saving this one for her. She's going to be perfect at it. I can't wait to see what she does in that workshop because she really takes things and makes it her own. I remember the first time I filmed with her, I was even looking at her victory pose and she has her own flair to a victory pose. And I'm like, fuck yeah, that is queen shit. Like, yes. So I can't wait to see what she does with this workshop.
I think she rocks, and we've mentioned this many times for those who've not checked out Gia Love, you should. It's one of those women who just has that core, that base, that overall decorum, but also, again, I could kick your ass at the same time type of vibes. And that's a dangerous woman, but also at the same time, dude, that's a cool ass chick. And that's a lot of people that people gravitate towards. And that's why she is the queen. And I mean, others you have on this, let's put this to the forefront as well. You got Twilight Deluge, you got Jayla Ray coming through. Let's talk about these women because my God.
That's the lineup from Beatdowns.
Oh, my apologies.
Yeah, no, that's okay. People are still jumping on, so I'm not sure if Twilight or Jayla will be on the lineup. So far, I haven't released the full lineup. I'm still a little bit behind on promos, but I'm getting it out there slowly.
Okay.
We have Princess Inez. Princess Inez is a dominatrix from the Taylor Group who not only has come to a bunch of my workshops, but has also come to my apartment for a one-on-one intensive on fetish wrestling. So she has the moves down. So she is someone new that you may not have experienced on the wrestling mats. There's Goddess Enya. Enya Fable is going to be there. Another dominatrix. Goddess Ari. Goddess Ari. I was talking to Goddess Ari at the dungeon just yesterday, and we are so excited to do double sessions because I was telling somebody at the party last night, I was like, she will kick your ass and then laugh in your face. Like this, I love her so much. She beats them down, and I love it. She is definitely a tough one. Her thighs are thick and strong, and she does not give a fuck. So she's going to rock you on those mats. So Princess or Goddess Ari, oh my gosh, I'm going to forget someone and I'm going to be so upset. Goddess D is coming in. Goddess D with the smother box content. I mean, that is an ass to fear. Like that is a fear boner inducing ass. Like I cannot wait to just see Goddess D. What a incredible human. I'm trying to think. Oh my gosh, I know I'm forgetting someone. It'll come to me. Let me look real quick and cheat here and see. I know I'm forgetting someone, and it doesn't mean that they're any less amazing. But yeah, I have to remember who is all on the lineup. I'm adding. Who just sent me? Someone who's doing Andromeda, who is doing rope suspension in the main party room. I love when there's rope suspension in the main party room. People are like wrestling on the mats and there's somebody just like dangling over them. That is so much fun. Someone else just sent me their stuff. Oh, Delphi, another dominatrix. Incredible. Jezebel Jubilee is going to be doing some semi-comp wrestling, and I cannot wait. She's like 6 feet tall. She is a giantess in the truest form. But there are just so many amazing people. And I know that as soon as we're done having this conversation, I'm going to see somebody else in my email like, oh, they're coming too. So you'll just to see the full lineup. I do post their pictures on the ticket page, but on FetLife Surrender Parties, I do post the full lineup there as I get them in. So yeah, if anybody I missed, I apologize. I love you dearly. But my chocolate covered espresso beans haven't, I guess, triggered that part of my brain yet. I'm not remembering everyone.
No worries. The images of these fine women that we just mentioned here will be in this portion of the show, so you can see them, boom, right on the screen here in this portion of the show. I will say this as well. Coming from the women from the beatdowns to this party as well, we talked about having a good time, but the women that you mentioned, who I've also looked into, even before the show and really just studying their overall craft, which is why I love your parties, Domina, it really does get to show like it's a mixture of sensuality mixed with empowerment and also just badass women kicking ass. And like you mentioned, even laughing about it because they know they're strong and they enjoy the beatdown side of things. So it's one of those things where it's very gratifying, it's rewarding, and it's a little bit terrifying, but at the end of the day, too, it is a good time. And I think how important is that? Because women like yourself, and I include you in this too, my ass mother and friend, it's one of those things too as well. It's like it's the dominant portion, and we love the doms type of vibe here, but it's also the same time too where it's just like it's very empowering and it really uplifts a lot of badass women to really explore themselves and really let their freak flag fly and really just let everything out and just kind of go balls to the wall, so to speak.
That's the beauty of like all the different types of providers that do come to Surrender as featured providers. You have, the femdom dominatrix, you have the fetish model, you have someone who is going to do semi-comp wrestling, you have someone who's going to do something to you that you've never experienced before. And Surrender is such a great time to get to know people, to talk to them, to meet them. Oh, my alarm's going off. here we go, to talk to them, to meet them. One of my favorite things that someone said to me at a party was, I was afraid to try this. I was never sure I was going to actually do a mini session or a session. And then I met you and I just felt so comfortable. So it's such a great way to connect just as humans and as fellow kinksters and people who have that mutual desire and those mutual interests.
Well, that's the thing too, as I always look at it like this. And I mean, with everything that we see in life, everything that was once taboo, right? So we're going on a day and age of where everything was taboo, but nowadays with the addition of adult sites and these parties and everything that we really get to see to really incorporate the fetish side of things, the preference side of things, I think it's so key in today's day and age to have everything be more normalized and really just have everything be at your fingertips as far as learning and adapting and growing to all of this. Because at the end of the day, too, we're all people. Number 2, we have needs. Number 3, we have urges. But also number 4, it doesn't make you less of anything because at the end of the day, you're just being you. And that's the best thing that life can really give you.
Yeah. And for me, honestly, you're being more because you're someone who's not afraid to explore. You're someone who's not afraid to, share those vulnerable parts of, about yourself. One of my jobs, let's call it, in this role is to, kind of keep your secrets. If you have something that you're not sure you can share with anyone else, trust me, you can share with me. There's nothing you can say that's going to make me think, oh, wow, this is good. There's no kink shaming whatsoever, and things do ebb and flow. There are times when, society as a whole is more conservative. There are times when we're a little bit more accepting, and right now we're seeing things like they're trying to make online porn illegal, right? Some of it is just a distraction from what is actually going on and the things that we do need to worry about. But some of it is just a harbinger of things to come. This is where they start. And it's not just about, protecting me, my job, that kind of thing. I know people don't like to mix their politics and their sex, but at the same time, if you are even just a tiny bit kinky or a tiny bit into, and if you are watching this podcast, you're one of us. But, if you are even just that tiny little bit, your existence, your pleasure is political. And that is something that, as humans, we deserve pleasure. We deserve joy. And those are things that are worth fighting for. And those are things that are worth getting, taking an extra 10 minutes to write a letter, to write an email, to contact a politician, to voice your opinion. And to protect the things and the people that you care about, and unfortunately, that's just where we are, right? Our existences have become politicized, and it is like I hate this, but also if we want to keep doing this, sometimes we do have to put up with those annoying little things, It's like filling out a booking form and sending your screening information. You do that, you get to the fun a lot quicker. So there's that little bit of admin. Consider that your politics. A little bit of admin so that we can get to all the filthy, kinky, sensual fun.
Oh, absolutely too. And I mean, especially with stuff with their banning online porn and stuff like that, and everything that you mentioned is beautiful because that is a key, the small little bit of admin to where we get to the fun and everything that's exercised. But I think in today's day and age, and I've always said this, and you know how much I love and respect each and every one of you women and each and every one that what we do here, it reminds me of just stuff like you mentioned here, especially with today's social media climate and where we are as a whole in society in 2025. We got a lot more things to worry about than actually stuff that we focus on that we think is so much of a worry than it really actually isn't than what it is in this world. And I think sometimes to put in the bluntest of terms, sometimes our ways are a little misguided of going this way when we should still be staying here. It's like we're taking a detour when we don't need to take a detour, so to speak.
Yep. And it's allowing a couple loud conservative voices to take us on a detour when everybody is just happy to go on their merry kinky way. With you get used to, all those good times and those good feelings, and you don't want to let go of those. But, when someone threatens that good way of life, if someone came into your home and threatened your way of life in your home, you would fight back. So this is kind of where we are on a boots on the ground, let's say, sort of perspective of community care. and also, we have harm reduction supplies at Surrender. We are all about harm reduction. We're all about community care. And if you have an organization that provides that kind of care or does that kind of advocacy, definitely reach out. If there's anything, I have tickets for the party. There's it's not even an organization. It's just a bunch of individuals who do jail support, who, greet people who have come out. Maybe they got arrested during a protest. Maybe they got picked up for vagrancy, because apparently that's a crime. That kind of stuff. We greet them with shoelaces and cigarettes and a hot meal. So, these people that are doing this jail support are raising funds, and I offered 2 tickets to the party. So, anytime that you have something that, is a cause for, our transgender siblings, our siblings of color, all of our community members, let me know. Let's talk about some ways that we can support each other.
Agreed wholeheartedly, as I've always said, and you can concur with me on this, my dear friend. It's all about being united, not divided, and just having a damn good, entertaining, and fun time. And also let your spontaneity out and just let your freak fly and have some fun, because that's what life is about. Just that F to the U to the N, if you will.
And it's Friday, baby.
Yay. Oh my
Friday, May 30th.
Oh my goodness gracious. Friday, May 30th. Be there or be squared. Check out the Assphyziation, the Surrender parties, everything to do with wrestling, and a whole lot of, dare I say, a whole lot of junk in the trunk, badonkadonk, smothering that goes on to everything that we do. You go with your Katarina. I will say this, Domina, it's always a pleasure to have you on the show. Now, folks, there will be some editing on this because, like this one said, I'm actually going to quote this Domina Katarina over here because of her fun isms here. Technology is going to technology, because there was a part of this interview, you'll see the editing points in this. Technology absolutely kicked my ass, and we had to get back. And you was
like, am I talking to myself? I'll keep going. It's fine.
well, that's the New Yorkers in us. We can talk. But no. But no, that's the thing too. And you have been so gracious and patient with me, and it's always a blast talking to you. I cannot wait to have you back on for another round. I really thank you tonight.
Thank you so much. And thank you for always supporting. Thank you for always being positive and, reaching out. And even when I'm, not on the show every day, you still reach out and you still support, and you still, support on social media and support in just your general joie de vivre. So I appreciate you so much for helping to, uplift our community and being part of our community.
The feeling is mutual, and that goes with the Sessions Wrestling, the Surrender parties, Lingerie Fighting Championship as a whole. We got a lot of beautiful women kicking ass, taking names, and even laughing in the process of it. Because but no, I mean, it's always a blast, and people should go out of their way and support. And if you're new, gravitate towards it, click the links, because all the links will be in the description below for tickets for this party, for all the events in this party, the social medias for this party. Ain't no party like a Surrender party, because a Surrender party don't stop. Let's put that to the forefront. Now, I have to ask these final questions before I have you plug the socials, because I love asking this, because not only do we provide your fun and your laughter within this fine program, Miss Domina Katarina, you always share such great pearls of wisdom. So I wanted to ask you as well, some of your takeaways from where you've gone in your tenure at Sessions Wrestling to what we're doing with these parties and everything that you've accomplished thus far in your tenure. What advice would you give, number one, to people that want to get into sessions and get involved with these parties? And number two, what are some of the takeaways that you've learned from these parties, as well as what you've done thus far within your tenure as a wrestler and everything that goes into it, and a dom?
Wow. Thank you for saying pearls of wisdom. I hope I can drop a few now. It's a big question. It's a big, I think honestly, just figure out what are your internal boundaries and what are your external boundaries. What sounds good in your head and what is actually good in practice. And can you live your life in a way that makes you happy without worrying about what some nameless, faceless person in Nebraska is going to think, or, your great aunt Margaret? Like, you have to be able to live with yourself. At the end of the day, in 40 years, where are you going to be and who are you going to be with? And are you going to be good with the type of person that you are? That is something for sure. And I see some of these, newer wrestlers, newer doms, and some of them are, younger, their brain's still developing. And so one of them even said to me that she's going to stay face in until, she gets a little bit older and she can make those decisions for herself. And I applaud that. I started face in, then I did videos, Then I did, then I did topless, then I did nude. So I kind of eventually found those boundaries for myself and found where I was comfortable and worked at my own pace. That's a really important thing. Work at your own pace, and your boundaries are your boundaries, whether they're shared with other people or not. They are 100% valid, 100% where you should be. You have to listen to yourself. That's your caveman instinct, your gut. One of the things I teach in consent class is, when that volcano erupted and you saw all those animals run, your ancestors ran with the animals. They saw the danger and they followed. They listened to their gut, and that's why you're still here. So listen to your gut. And if anyone ever says you need to do this, you need to make a decision now, the answer for me is no. If someone rushes me in a decision, take that time to process. You're allowed to let these thoughts marinate. This is you, your mind, your body. And I welcome anyone who wants to try, session wrestling, who wants to try doming, who wants to work in this industry. But definitely honor your own boundaries and give yourself that time and that grace. No one is entitled to your yes. The yes is purely your own.
Beautifully and eloquently said. Thank you for those pearls of wisdom. And I think to add on to that, like you mentioned, the body being the temple. And like I always say with this show, life's an art form. We're all applying our crafts. We're just all looking to continue to apply our crafts in amazing fashion. And everything's a canvas, man. We're just painting our canvases. That's what we're doing. That's what we're doing, creating our own masterpieces.
It really is. It really is. And there's a museum for every painting. So whatever, if it's pointillism, if you got some Jackson Pollock in you, whatever, however you want to do it, some cubism, it's beautiful and it's your canvas. And don't let anyone ever tell you to paint any other way.
Damn straight. I like your style. Yes, ma'am. Okay. Adhere to those words, and folks, take it all in and check out everything that's going on. It's Friday. It's May 30th. My goodness gracious. Surrender Wrestling and Assphyziation.
Yes.
Hell yeah. Domina, before we close this out, where can we follow you on the social media fronts? The floor is yours. Please go right ahead.
I am basically the Dom Cat everywhere. TheDomekat. That's my link tree. That's my website. I'm Domina _Katarina on Instagram, but I'm thedomcat.com on Blue Sky. I still have a presence on Twitter. I'm definitely on FetLife. If we have met in person before, feel free to send me a friend request, but send me a message to let me know that we've met. Surrender Parties is on FetLife. If you're not on FetLife, it is sort of a pervy little cesspool, but it is the Facebook of fetish. So it is a really great place to find events and other kinksters. So the Domcat, TheDomekat on FetLife, and Surrender Parties on FetLife is another really great place to follow.
Links will be in the description for all the Domcat, the DOMMEK to the A to the T, to check out all these fine events and everything. And check out to say, folks, give her a follow, because Domina always puts out such great content, great informative stuff as well. And as far as bringing the sexiness vibes, let's put this into the forefront here, because this is the Lingerie Fighting Championships podcast. We have so many great fighters on this show, personnel, fans like Domina, and great people in the community. Domina, you're rocking it right now tonight, man. I got to put this in the forefront. Your style and profile. I love the attire that you chose for this evening. Looking great.
Thank you. A little lingerie, a little lingerie vibe. But speaking of LFC.
Oh, yeah. All right.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. No, it definitely suits the fit and everything that goes into it, man. You know how to rock it, and you do as only as you can do. So we thank you. And folks, if you want to check out this fine program, it's lfcfights.com, the VIP section, to see this face and more of these faces, because we got a lot of beautiful women up in this piece, and we got so much great content on the VIP section of the site. And if you want to subscribe to the YouTube, it is S&M Network Shows. I am the M of S&M with On the Mic with Mike, the LFC podcast, and so much great stuff. And Domina, do you have any final words before we get to the party next week?
Just come party. Leave your worries at the door, leave work at the door, leave the world at the door, and just come escape with us for a couple of hours on a Friday night.
All right now. And as well, I'm going to add this just because we mentioned it earlier. Get that thunderpuss up in there. That
It might be on the list. You'll never know what you'll find on that playlist.
Oh my goodness gracious, folks, party, enjoy yourselves, live your life, and love one another. And with that being said, as I always say to end this fine program, not just my mindset, but the name of the Lingerie Fighting Championships podcast, beauty, strength, and dominance, the three elements that make women the work of art that they are, and the Dom Cat, meow, Domina Katarina, I include you in those sentiments. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.